Alrighty, today is Tuesday. Great noonday to you. Hopefully, all is well with you and yours. You are being prayerful, sensible, smart, and safe. Again, welcome to our noonday Bible study series. It's always encouraging to have so many to pause, stop, and make sure that this is part of your daily schedule to tune in just to get a word from the Lord. And again, let me thank the media team, administrative staff, the custodial team for making sure that we continue to be prepared to bring you a word at the noon time. Family, miss you, love you, can't wait to see you. But of course, want you to be safe. We're putting our heads and hearts together in terms of what our return is going to look like, when that might occur. And so please continue to be prayerful and be hopeful that God will bless us with a revelation in terms of how do we go from here and what is going to be different, what is going to be the same, what is going to be new. And so just pray that God would give us, again, a word concerning how do we return, when would that occur. So please, again, be prayerful. We've been talking about the tongue, about 13, 14 weeks, and today we want to identify another tongue. It's called the discouraging tongue. And of course, we've all have been discouraged. If you look at this first section, what does it mean to be discouraged? Well, when a person is discouraged, sometimes their hope has been shattered, just been destroyed. And of course, we understand hope to be something that we look forward to. It is something that is futuristic. It is something that causes us to hang on, to hang in there. So sometimes individuals have been so discouraged that they no longer have hope. Their hope has literally been shattered. But then a second devastation of discouragement is not only a person's hope can be shattered, but then their confidence can be shattered. You could look at confidence as being a feeling of assurance. And so there are times when people, the last source that they've had going for them, that encouraged them to keep trying, gave them a reason to get up in the morning, sometimes they can be so discouraged that they no longer have that. And so their confidence has been shattered. Their confidence in systems have been shattered. Their confidence in themselves have been shattered. Confidence in the church has been shattered. Discouragement can do that. But then another way discouragement is so devastating is that not only can it shatter hope, confidence, it can also shatter enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is to be inspired to a lively interest. We have no idea what gives people a reason to get up. We have no idea what pushes people. We have no idea what encourages people. And so we have to really be careful with discouragement. And so I want us to think about, when it comes to discouragement, have we been victim or have we been victimizer? Is this something that we struggle with? Are we known to be individuals who encourage, or do we discourage? And so I want you to think about your own tongue. I want you to think about your own disposition. I want to think about if people were to evaluate your speech, the way you talk to them on a regular basis, would they consider you to be the type of person who is always giving encouragement? Or would they say you're the type of person who is always bringing people down, holding people back, giving them reasons why they cannot succeed, why they cannot achieve? So, victim or victimizer, as it relates to the discouraging tongue. Well, again, we've taken a look at the consequences of discouragement. It shatters hopes, confidence, as well as enthusiasm. But we can be surprised where discouragement comes from. It can come from, first of all, teachers. You know, think about how many students are told, well, there's no need for you to take the ACT because I just don't think you have a chance at ever going to college. Your GPA, maybe you ought to think about just graduating from high school and then just trying to find a job. I don't think you are college material. Be surprised how many children, how many students have been discouraged by teachers. Thank God I had teachers years ago who made me feel like I could do anything. I could be anybody. And it was, I tell you, before I went to Southern University, a librarian, Mrs. Horton, it was the day before testing for college, and she pulled me into that library and told me I would sit down and take that test. Day before it was going to happen. And so, went on to Southern University and did pretty good. And so here again, I had someone in my life, teacher, who pushed me, who encouraged me. I could call names of all those teachers who sometimes I was put out of class, didn't suspend me, just, I would actually just hall monitor. I mean, I wasn't disturbing the class, nothing like that, but they could have suspended me, could have given me detention, but put me outside the classroom and I could give my work outside the class. They say I was a class clown. I don't remember any of that. But again, you had teachers, the bottom line, you had teachers who believed in you, who were pushing. So, but again, is just the opposite of that also can be the case, where you have teachers who discourage you. But then you also have family members who will discourage you. Some family members are jealous of other family members. Some members of the family don't want you to achieve. Some family members will do what they can to stop you from achieving. Some family members feel like you have to do it their way. Some family members say, no, we're known to be this type. So sometimes you can get discouragement from your own family members. Another area, some Christians, you can be discouraged by some Christians, not just church people, but you can also be discouraged by Christians. Some people don't see what you see. And when they don't see what you see, then they can speak against what you say you see. And I'll say a little bit more about that later. But sometimes the church, instead of being a place where people can be encouraged, inspired, and equipped to do amazing things for God, transform societies and cultures, sometimes you get discouragement when you come around some of the saints. But thanks be unto God that it's not all the saints, it's just one or two saints. But then another area you can get discouragement from, and that's society in general. Now, sometimes there are systems. Sometimes discouragement is systemic. It comes from systems within the culture that are designed to keep certain people back, keep certain people down, keep certain people isolated. it is happening even in 2020. And so these are different pockets where you can, where discouragement sometimes comes. It comes from teachers, it can come from family members, it can come from Christians, and it can come from society. Look at this statement of summation. An untold number of individuals have missed their destiny. Why? Because of someone's discouraging words. How many people have not tried because somebody told them there was no need for them to try? How many people have not continued their education because nobody else in their family had ever gone beyond a certain level of education? How many people have never purchased a home because nobody told them they could do it? They had never seen it done before. And on and on and on. And so our society, there are people all around, people near and dear to us, who need someone to give them encouraging words. Well, let's see what the Bible has to say concerning where discouragement comes from, how we should encourage others. The first passage I want us to look at is Job chapter 29. Job chapter 29, verse number 24. Job 29, verse 24. I know Job is in his Bible. Job 29, verse number 24. Listen to what it says. Job says, I smiled on them when they had no confidence, and the light of my countenance they did not extinguish. Job is saying that there were individuals around him who had no confidence, but their confidence was not contagious for him. He smiled again, and he was not impacted by their lack of confidence. Sometimes when others are discouraged, it causes others to be discouraged. But then it has also a reverse effect. Sometimes when you see all the discouragement around you, then you can say, no, that is going to encourage me to go on, to continue, to keep the faith, to keep it moving. Here's another passage. This is just the opposite of Job passage. Numbers 13. I want to begin at verse number 30. Numbers 13. I want to begin at verse number 30. Here is when God had promised them the land of Canaan, and Moses sends out 12 spies to check the land out. And here is the report. Verse 30, but Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it. Then the men, there were 10 of them, who had gone up with him said, we are not able to go up against this people, for they are stronger than we. So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, the land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Mephilim, and to ourselves we seemed like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them. So you have one group of individuals who gave a negative report, discouraging words. And that generation did not occupy the land of promise. Again, how many individuals have not reached their destiny because of discouraging words? Only Caleb and Joshua, who would give the positive report, would actually enter the land of Canaan. How many people don't make it because of words of discouragement? I want to pause, see if we got any questions at this point. Okay, now let's go to Colossians. Colossians, New Testament, chapter number 3, verse number 21. Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. And here, Apostle Paul is giving instructions to the relationships that exist in households. He's already talked to husbands and wives, and now he's talking about children, and then he talks about parents. He says, fathers, verse 21, do not provoke your children, or they may lose heart. They may quit. They may fall to the wayside. Do not provoke. To provoke means to push. It means to drive something out of a person, or it could also mean to stir something up within the person, that there are negative results. And so sometimes parents are the ones who will discourage their children. Here's a statement of summation. In a world plagued with negativity, everyone needs a little encouragement from time to time. Last section, how do you handle discouragement? How do you handle discouragement? Well, number one, make sure that you do not allow anyone, regardless if it's a teacher, if it's family, if it's other saints, or society in general, do not allow anyone to derail your destiny. It's good to have people in your corner. It's good to get support from every angle and every area, but you may not have it that way. So don't allow anyone to derail your destiny, number one. Number two, be selective as to who you share your dreams with, your aspirations, your plans. Be selective. Everybody should know everything. And so when it comes to your plans, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to your aspirations, again, you don't have to tell everybody, but have a select few, your crew, people that you believe in, people who believe in you. You have history together. You have shared experiences. You have each other's back. They are prayer warriors. They are prayer partners. They are in the Word. Again, you all have battle scars. You've been together, and so you can trust them, and they know they can trust you. And you can get positive feedback. They can hold you accountable, but they can also encourage you. So be selective as to how you handle your dreams, because if you tell the wrong somebody, they can come against you. When people see you are progressing, see you doing well, everyone is not happy. Everyone is not excited about that. So you really want to be selective as to who you tell what, because if you tell the wrong person, then they can push back with, I don't know why you want to do that. Won't you just content with where you are in life, and just, everybody, it's not meant for everybody to go to school. It's not meant for everybody to live here, etc. Be selective as to who you share your dreams with. And then number three, if someone comes at you with negative talk, discouraging words, politely tell them, thanks but no thanks. You've got your eyes fixed and focused on what you believe God has in store for you. So politely tell them, thanks for your commentary, but no, I think I'm moving forward with this. It's been confirmed by God. God has revealed this to me. I'm going in this particular direction. This last statement, make a conscious effort to always speak sincere words of affirmation, support, and inspiration to those within your circle of influence. Do not be the one to tell people why they cannot do it. Be the one to partner with them, telling them, I believe in you, I believe you can do it. And remind them of what the Bible says. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask, think, imagine, according to the power that is at work within us. Ephesians chapter 3, verse number 20. So I wanted each of us, we got to think about this. Are we the ones who discourage, or are we the ones who encourage? Think about that. Are we positive or are we negative? Do we build people up or do we bring them down? Do we push people to go forward? Do we launch people? Are we an encourager? We inspire individuals. We push them to do their very best, even in certain areas that we have failed or we have not been successful, areas where we have not even attempted to go. So think about that. Are we the encourager or are we the discourager? We'll pause to see if we got any questions. How can an individual overcome discouragement when the discouragement is coming from someone who's always been a part of their lives? What a question. That's a very good question. And here again, you got to be able to hear it, but don't receive it. Okay? You got to be able to, you know, I bump into stuff sometimes, and I think we all do. When you are living in a house full of people, you got to keep one eye open and one eye closed. You cannot address everything that you see, nor can you receive everything that you hear. And so I would say to my sister or my brother, listen, you know, it comes in your ear, but it goes all right out the other one. I mean, do not take that to heart. Here again, you hear it, your ears work, but you're not receiving it. You're not applying what you have heard. Okay? All right. Here's another question. Okay? When you have someone near and dear to you, living with you, they're close to you, and they don't see the sun shining, but all they see is the rain. I mean, the mud that comes from the rain, right? Okay, all right, okay, okay. I'm trying to make sure we got you, all right? How do you deal with someone who can always tell you what's wrong, but who never tells you what's right, okay? You are going to, number one, know who you're dealing with. Know that. And when you know who you're dealing with, then you're able to prepare yourself. Well, I know this person is always negative. They never have anything positive to say. So you're already prepared. Don't expect anything other than what people give you. And when people show you who they are, believe what you see. You can't fix people. And so if they are negative all the time, then you've got to prepare yourself to handle negativity. You got to let negativity bounce off of you. You got to let negativity go in one ear and out the other. You cannot, you got to desensitize yourself to negativity. Don't take it personally, because if you take it personally, it's going to change your mindset, it's going to change your disposition, it's going to change the way you speak. It is going to change you. It's going to impact you. So if you know the person is negative, know what you're dealing with, and you got to keep it moving. All right? Now, if you can't get away from the person, then what you're going to have to learn how to do is you're going to have to learn how to know your peak times. You got to know when you've had enough, and you've got to make sure that you don't reach that point where the relationship is going to be severed, or you are going to in some way respond in a way that you're going to be sorry for. Okay? So you got to, that's a challenging situation there. But again, don't take it all in. Be prepared for it. But again, you're already ahead when you know what you got to deal with, so you got to prepare to deal with that. Person said they kind of got rid of some people who were negative, but then they're saying, I had to take a look at myself to see if I'm doing something that's drawing negative people, okay? Now, let me say this. It's an old saying, birds of a feather flock together, right? So, if at one time you have been negative, again, sometimes you draw those type of people because people who are negative, they kind of hang out together. They feed off of negativity. And so sometimes we have an appetite for negativity. So if God has in some way changed you or transformed you, now it's your responsibility to change your environment. Okay? You know how not to be accessible. You don't have to answer your phone. You don't have to respond to text. You don't have to hear from that person. If you know they are negative, then don't entertain that. And then if they have at one time, if they saying, "Oh, you didn't change," you say, "Yeah, I sure have." Or if they say you're acting all new, well, the Lord has changed. I mean, I don't. That's not working for you anymore. So I would appreciate if, unless we're going to speak positively and we're going to be encouraging, let's just our relationship has changed. And sometimes you got to do that. Some relationships have to run their course, and especially if God has changed you, then you got to kind of move on. So I would say to the individual, take a look at who you entertain and what you entertain. If you don't answer the phone, they can't talk to you. If they don't have access to you, they can't get to you. So I would say just take a look at that. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. All righty. So the discouraging tongue, listen, so many people could use positive, uplifting, encouraging words. Let's make the commitment. Let's make the commitment to be individuals who build people up, individuals who inspire, individuals who encourage, individuals who tell people you can do it. Let's not be just the opposite. And so if we make that commitment, God the Holy Spirit will give us words, He will give us wisdom, He will give us insight so that we can encourage individuals to live for God and to fulfill the call that they believe God has on their life. You can be positive. If you have always been negative, if you come from a negative tree, that doesn't mean that's your destiny. You can change. God can change anybody. So let's take a look at ourselves and make sure that we are the ones who are pushing people in the right direction. We're lifting them. We're encouraging them. We're speaking positive matters. We are speaking positive words to them. And we're the ones who want them to do their very best. All right? All right, so have a good rest of the day. I think we have, oh, yes. You see that little note there? Everything in that note is positive. Everything in that note is positive. And that's what we want to be. We want to be positive. We want to forgive. We want to encourage. We want to inspire. We want to think positively. And if we think positive, we'll speak positively, and then we'll live positively. So let's ask God to help us be encouragers and not discouragers. All right? Have a good rest of the day. Be safe. Take care.